My name is Chandrashekhar Naik. I'm a senior VP with Valueleaf, and I'll be the moderator. Quick round of introduction with our esteemed panelist today. Animesh, if we can start with you.
Hi all, good morning. My name is Animesh Bhartiya and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Unity Small Finance Bank. We're India's youngest bank, yet to launch, but we're looking forward to a launch in the next 3 to 4 months. So hopefully you'll all hear about it. And the next time I join a panel, you'll know where I work.
Hi, my name is Shonali Shetty. I head marketing for growth at Godrej Capital. We are the financial services arm for Godrej Group.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nimish Agrawal. I lead marketing for Niva Bupa Health Insurance, which was formerly Max Bupa Health Insurance. And very excited to be here. The rooms are still pretty empty, but hoping people will trickle in.
Hi everyone, I'm Samir. I head digital marketing and D2C business for Max Life Insurance. Happy to be part of this discussion.
Sure. To begin with, so the topic for today, as we all have discussed, that broadening of marketing sales funnel. And we all have seen and we all know that there are different stages of a funnel, which starts in a manner where awareness, consideration, and intent, that is the flow. So I would like to take an opening comment from all of you, and then we can deep dive into it. So anybody would want to start?
So I think, we fortunately live in a country where the opportunities are immense. I don't think when it comes to BFSI, we've even scratched the surface. So while we personally sit in a world where we are overbanked, and where people are kind of chasing us for financial products, the reality of the situation is that there's a market out there which is tremendously underserved. And no matter how much we work, I think all of us and everyone we know could spend their lifetime and there would still be a demand out there. So that would be my view. And how we bring new sets of customers into what is known as financial inclusion is really the question.
Well said.
I think it's good to see the word being used as sales and marketing funnel, right? It's not a marketing funnel, but a sales and marketing funnel. So for us, specifically from our perspective, we are into the second year of our growth. And anything and everything which offers us an opportunity to grow the business and the brand is how we look at the lens.
Sure.
Thank you. See, one part of broadening the funnel is essentially, it could be my title. That's my title, that, the job of a CMO is to broaden the funnel. But the fact is that health insurance in our country has 5% penetration. 8 million Indians, they fall below poverty line every year because of lack of health insurance. The problem is people who need the health insurance most, they aren't searching for it. And hence, the job of a marketer is to make people aware how relevant health insurance is. People are searching for all kinds of mobile phones, they are waiting for Flipkart, Myntra to offer their Diwali sale, etc. They should definitely have health insurance. So it's not just a sales funnel. To me, it's essentially the job of a marketing team.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, especially when I joined BFSI, I realized that it's always a sales and marketing funnel and never a marketing funnel in isolation. And there's a high degree of P&L and business focus. And we often fall prey to chasing short-term business goals and neglect creating that top of funnel and awareness. But it's very critical in our category, similar to health insurance, life insurance is also under-penetrated. And there's a job at hand to continuously increase awareness about the category and why it's important.
So, Animesh, I want to throw a question at you. You said that you will be coming up or you will be starting your marketing and activities since you are launching your product. So I wanted to understand how important it is, or what are the main strategies rather, when it comes to market penetration, since you're speaking, we are speaking about broadening the funnel. So any take on it?
So I think, for a new bank, the bad news is that we're launching now, right? The good news also is that we're launching now.
Yes.
So I think the opportunity lies in, understanding that most people in the country don't understand financial services. It has been opaque. I mean, what a tragedy that more people don't take health insurance, right? What a tragedy. So similarly with banking, I think, there is a space between traditional banks who are trying to be digital and putting forth their digital offering. And there are the neo banks, which I think, don't account for the population over 35. I think so we plan to sit in that space between the traditional banks and the neo banks, where we are, present physically, but largely will be available digitally, because we don't plan to match the infrastructure that other banks have. So we are very much in the middle, and we will be focusing on, the people who don't really understand finance, as a way of bringing them into the financial fold, not in the way we refer to as financial inclusion, but greater financial literacy. That is something that we look at doing and addressing through our marketing and communications.
Right. And of course, as Nimish said, that for health insurance, the market is currently only at 5% or less probably. So on the awareness front, any strategies where you would want to speak about when it comes to broadening?
I think the basic strategy is that we need as a country to have a lot more conversation around vulnerabilities and sickness. We are very happy to talk about, not happy, we are actually forced to talk about provisioning when there is a health discovery. So the basic philosophy that we follow at Niva Bupa, and the philosophy is that health insurance should as much be part of sickness, anxiety, as much as it is part of your joys and celebration. Over the last 16 months, and our proposition when we became from Max Bupa to Niva Bupa, our proposition was Zindagi ko claim kar le. Zindagi ko claim kar le essentially is, three people from my team have walked in. Thank you so much, guys. You're just in time. Sorry for that distraction. So when we moved from Max Bupa to Niva Bupa, we said Zindagi ko claim kar le. And essentially the reason why we chose that as the promise to the customer, because this category is seen as a category which has got fear, anxiety and financial loss. It's very important that we pivot this category into a conversation of healthy people. Interestingly, the two big misconceptions about health insurance is that health insurance is for sick people. Actually, it's not for sick people, it's for healthy people. But the category is not associated with health. The second misconception is that health insurance is waste of money. Buying an iPhone, I'm sorry if there is somebody from Apple, buying an iPhone is a waste of money. Health insurance is not. In the last 5 years, the healthcare cost in the country has gone up by 3 times. India today, the healthcare cost in India is higher than developed countries. That's the reason why 8 million people fall into poverty. So I think the basic philosophy is about pivoting the category to a more positive, empowering versus anxiety. So that's what we are working for. Thank you.
Thanks, Nimish. I think Samir also works in the similar space, so we can take a comment from Samir as well on this.
Yeah, a couple of things that have hit me hard in the last 1 year. One is the information asymmetry in this industry, and this category is very high. A lot of customers don't understand the category, they don't understand the product and the propositions. Even customers who've ended up buying from us, if we go and do a detailed conversation with them, they will understand the product only 50%. So that's one thing that we want to address systematically. The second thing was this research that came out from Google and BCG recently, which said that on an average, a customer will research from 3 independent platforms before coming on to your platform or even an aggregator platform and then deciding to buy from a particular brand. And how are we helping that customer while they are in their research phase? So looking at the two aspects together, addressing information asymmetry and helping customers at their research phase, this is where we're trying to do a lot of work with influencers. We've also launched a portal called investmentsimplified.in. The idea is to create the TripAdvisor of BFSI. The objective of portal will not be to monetize or to generate business, but purely from an awareness initiative.
Sure. So just coming back to Nimish once again, you said that buying an iPhone is a waste of money, but buying a health insurance is not.
Relatively speaking.
Yes. So is this one of the examples of broadening the funnel when it comes to the TG? So the broadening could be on different levels, of course. I mean, we can look at in terms of marketing strategies, whether you only want to do SEOs or you want to be within the walled gardens. But broadening the funnel where the TG lies. So let's say somebody is marketing a laptop, but when you say a lot of people are using iPads nowadays, and it is fastly replacing the laptops. So their broadening of the TG can work. So similarly, when you are saying that you're comparing iPhone with the health insurance, does it stand true for broadening the TG? And your opinions on it?
Sure. So, when I say that the kind of spends that we do today is also not very virtuous, I don't mean it literally speaking, right? I've done a lot of work and been fortunate to be part of FMCG industry for a while, right? And one thing that I've learned in FMCG is that you don't talk down to a customer. Gone are the days when you say कि ओ निर्मला जी आपने कपड़े अच्छे नहीं धोए तो आपके पति का प्रमोशन नहीं हुआ. You have to be far more empowering to a customer. So the narrative is not, it's a function of narrative. The narrative cannot be that you are making an expense which is wasteful. The narrative is about dialing the proposition of health insurance. Health insurance by default is a category that works on delayed gratification. When you buy a health insurance, hopefully you're not going to fall sick the next day. And hence you do not know when you are going to absorb that money. So the basic purpose is when you make a transaction on health insurance, how do you make the consumer feel that he has got something which is going to secure him, which is going to assure him of any exigency that's going to happen in the future. So it's about dialing up the value proposition of health insurance versus dumbing down choices that consumers make.
I mean, if somehow you can equate this to creating an asset, you've actually created an asset for yourself, right? If you bought a health insurance or a life insurance, you solve a large part of that problem. The other simile that I'd like to, specifically on your point of broadening the funnel that I'd like to highlight here is, when we look at our customers and we look at their affinities, a lot of them are into self-care, right? So they visit spa, salons, and, for a while I was trying to scratch my head as to there's actually no relation between somebody who buys life insurance and somebody who's into self-care. But if you come to think of it, if you value yourself, you will take care of yourself and you will attach a premium to your life, right? So, and obviously you're bound to take the conversation of insurance seriously. So, and that is an audience that we could look at from a perspective of broadening the funnel.
Very nice example.
Actually, to add to that, right, from the lending perspective also, nobody gets up in the morning quite excited to take a loan, right? From a loan category perspective also, what we are trying to decipher is, at the end of the day, the loan plays the role of an enabler. That enabler would be to either make a home purchase or some kind of a tangible purchase, or towards professional or personal growth. So we are trying to figure out how do we broaden the funnel to make that purpose alive. So we've also just launched a MSME platform called godrejcapitalnirman.com, where the role of enabler is at the forefront. It's again at no cost to anybody who can come to the platform. And the idea is, if you want to grow your business, finance is one leg of it. You deal with several other issues. So let's ease the life of the MSME. So that's how we are taking the lens of broadening the funnel on what the product role is, and let's ease the journey and the purpose for the consumer.
Sure. The next one is, of course, since we are in Affiliate Summit, and affiliates majorly help brands in terms of scaling of the business. So I wanted to understand, is broadening required when only when you or the brands and advertisers are looking for the scale, or it can be done other times as well? Anyone?
Let me just throw some importance on affiliate as a channel. Every brand is going through a journey, and especially in a category like ours, where we're looking at growth and we're looking at new avenues to grow. There are some channels that you've cracked. You know that these are the channels that work for you as a brand, and then you're in the journey of trying to figure out newer channels, newer partnerships. Where affiliates come in is that there is an ecosystem already existing, which has tapped into these channels, this inventory, which is not so structured, but they know it works for a particular industry. And that's why I think it's important to leverage affiliates well for your business.
Sure.
So I would also like to add here. So, I am a little bit different to my esteemed colleagues here in that I look after brand and marketing and not growth typically as much as I'm a stakeholder. I think because we are a new company, we are compelled to think of new ways to cut the clutter out there, because we are minnows compared to some of our other banking competitors, etc. So we are looking for strategic partners. What that means is, today affiliates are an afterthought. So have you done enough brand marketing? Have you done enough on Meta and Google? Have you done enough of that? And then, if the role of affiliates come in. And that's a function of both how marketers look at affiliates and how, the second is how affiliates behave. But I think perhaps an opportunity exists for affiliates who are progressive in the way that we are progressive as a new company, because we are compelled to be progressive in a very competitive market, is to have a conversation around, what my strategic priorities are, and how do we, how do affiliates progress in what they do? How much of it will be business of as usual, or how much do they need to evolve their role to say, okay, financial categories, there are two things to be done. Education is one, right? Because I buy mutual funds, but I have no clue how they work. I just know that at some point in the future, it will give me a healthy return. So, can number one, can the industry get together and rather than do separate education pieces, can we do something together? So that's kind of one thought. So can Godrej and Max Life and Unity come together and, along with Niva, Bupa, and launch a financial education platform which we can collectively progress? But how can affiliates help with the education job?
Right.
That is one priority. How can they be a strategic partner to me in the way that my creative agencies and my media agencies are, and therefore move away from what they're doing into, and go a little bit more upstream. And I think that's where the opportunity lies, But in order to do that, I think they will need to deliver what they need to deliver first.
Yes.
And then they get into, a seat at the table to talk about strategic priorities of a marketer and how they can holistically bring us sets of audiences where they have some work has been done on them, for about educating them about financial services and how it works and how insurance is so important, and so on and so forth.
Sure.
My quick 2 cents on this is that, affiliate and scale up, everybody understands. In my mind, as marketers, we are custodian of many funnels. Affiliate could also be a good replacement. Let's say there's a funnel and there's a conversion rate and there's a cost of acquisition. Now, you experiment with affiliate, and if you think that a certain ecosystem is giving you a better metrics, it also could be replacement. There is enough fat that exists in the kind of work that we do. It's also about figuring out that fat and replacing it with better hardworking muscles.
Sure. So Sonali, unlike the three co-panelists, I think you are the one who are more into B2B. These other brands are into B2C. So we would also like to understand that you would definitely have certain limitations when it comes to scale. So how does the broadening and scale works for you?
So as I said, right, for every marketer, it begins with what is the objective that you want to drive and what is the consumer landscape around it, and it boils down to the budget. So between this trio is what our world moves. While we are into the B2B space on the product portfolio that we currently operate in, we're putting together the next gen product portfolio also, which is largely our D2C bet under GC Direct. And affiliates across financial services, it's a no-brainer, is an important ally, right? There's nobody in the BFSI space who's not worked with affiliates. The challenge lies in the quality and the share of wallet that they would take up, right? Where do you place them? Whether it's a replacement channel funnel, whether it's an aggregate channel funnel, whether it's an incremental channel funnel. This pretty much boils down to the role and the relationship that the affiliate themselves drive, right? And there are very few who understand this well. And those who do become our long-term partners.
Thanks. Samir, I have a question for you. So definitely when we are trying to broaden the funnel, I'm sure there are a lot of limitations. Any particular limitations you have seen, you have come across, which are preventing you from broadening the funnel?
The first limitation is your P&L. You have a P&L to manage. There is a cost of acquisition, and you can't go beyond a tolerance limit on it. Also, often the last $100 or $1,000 that you spend on marketing are the most inefficient. So you need to be cognizant of the fact of what is the incrementality that extra money that you're deploying is getting you. And hence, these I would say are the limitations while scaling and broadening the funnel.
Okay. Nimish, your thoughts on it?
See, there are two large limitations that I've experienced. The first one is a human limitation. We run out of patience much faster. Okay. So we start an experiment. After 3 weeks, we say, "Ye to nahi chal raha, let's do something else." It requires a certain kind of discipline and patience to do everything in your power to make that experiment work. And if it doesn't work, it's still a win because you know this thing does not work. Rather than being half there, it's important to be full there. So that's one limitation. We try stuff. We do not stay the course for variety of reasons, but I think that's one human limitation that stops us. The second limitation is the landscape from a consumer standpoint. Unfortunately, in our category, we need to figure out what are the channels that have intent. The idea is not to maximize leads. The idea is essentially to have conversations. Look at lead as conversation. Are people wanting to have a health insurance conversation? You cannot force a health insurance down people's throat. So figure out people who are interested in those conversations beyond walled garden is a challenge.
So very interesting thing you have said. So as I said at the beginning of this discussion, that the flow is from awareness and it goes till intent. So you as a health insurance product, I'm sure you guys are focusing more on awareness because again, India is a nascent market. But does it make more sense for you to broaden the funnel at intent level as well?
See, I think unless you are living under a rock, I don't think you would not know what health insurance is. I think pandemic has done the job for us. So our focus is not about generic awareness. Smoking is bad is a generic awareness. Everybody knows it. How do you personalize that information that what harm is smoking doing to you or people in your age bracket? Now that's the job that we are in. So our call to action, Zindagi ko claim kar le, is very personalized in nature. Why is health insurance important to you is far more important conversation than health insurance is important. So to answer your question, we are working on intent in the IDA funnel. We are working on intent and ability to create a desire by dialing up value proposition rather than creating generic awareness because I think pandemic has done the job.
Right. Shonali, you want to speak on the limitations and any learnings if you would want to share with us?
So as Samir said, right, every rupee spent on how do we build up efficiencies and productivity across the funnel. Sometimes we face system limitations, sometimes it's structurally the seamless flow across structures and teams, right? How do we address that to boost it up? And sometimes it's just pure talent, right? Talent across the board, internal, external. So that one of the key learnings that I've had is coming from a typical traditional marketing background to actually understanding the importance that journeys play. I think that's a hard lesson that I've learned across my career, and I actually spend a lot of time now to ensure that I map out all journeys, scenarios, funnel interventions, etc. to the T, and that's been a continuous exercise.
Right. So Animesh, we all know that you're going to start your marketing activities soon. But what kind of limitations you foresee in terms of starting your marketing activities?
I think so. Some of the limitations that we face is, how to deal with overbanked customers, and how to avoid overbanked customers, and how to get quality customers from the underbanked or
Right.
the unbanked sector, right? So that is kind of the challenge that we're grappling with. I just want to say something on another note. I think earlier you spoke about using affiliates for business to business marketing. Now, as a bank, we do have a vertical which does that. So that is a learning that I'll take away. So I appreciate that, that's my learning from being as part of this illustrious panel. But yeah, the limitations that we're dealing with is how to get quality customers, outside of the overbanked space. That is what we are grappling with at the moment.
Right. So can we discuss a bit more about the limitations in terms of the inventories? We have spoken about the strategies, what Samir has started with in terms of the P&L stands as one of the limitations. But what about the inventories? If you can speak more about the inventories limitations, what do you guys see as a bigger challenge?
Okay, let me go first. So basically, getting right performance out of any campaign is a combination of getting the right audience, the right placement, and being able to optimize for the right goal, right? While Google and Meta have solved this at scale, some of the other emerging ecosystems, one would have the right audience, but they will not have, let's say, the right placements or the right native formats that really work, or they would not have the machine learning algorithm to be able to optimize for a mid-funnel or a deeper funnel goal. So if all three come together is when we win. And hence, I think there is a need for a third front to come, or maybe the publisher ecosystem to come together, because having the right tech stack at the core is very important to be able to scale.
Sure.
It's a nice word, a third front.
Right. Anybody else want to elaborate more on that? Maybe Shonali or Nimish?
So we don't start by talking inventories, right? As he rightly put, it starts by where the right audience is, what makes the most sense for you. So in fact, across the board, at least at our end, we don't talk even leads now. So our funnel starts from quality conversions, right? We don't measure it, we don't report it. Our reporting measures start from, is it the right audience and intent for our product and business? That's how we start the whole conversation. And then the partners who come with that similar intent and are willing to put the skin in the game is something that we are more than happy to look at.
Sure.
The question on inventory, 5 years back, our screen time as Indians was 63 minutes. Our screen time today is 5 hours. We spend 5 hours in front of a screen. It could be any screen, but 5 hours. I don't think there is dearth of inventory. What is missing is attention. You will still recall ads that you've seen 5 years back. You wouldn't recall something that you've seen on Insta 5 minutes back. So I think
True.
it's not an inventory problem. It's an attention problem. It's a contextualization problem.
Right. So I think we would like to take some questions from the audience as well, because we are towards the last leg of this panel. So anyone, any questions if we can take? Right, so not many questions here. So to conclude this, I think, yeah, I mean, broadening is definitely very important at different stages. And again, it definitely depends upon the kind of product that is being marketed over here. So yeah, I mean, I've got a very insightful views from all these marketeers over here, and this is it from us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much to all the speakers. Requesting you all to gather for a quick photograph.